Imagine this scenario. You're 20 years old and you want to buy a $3,000 TV. Now, you could go out and buy it right now if you have the money in your bank account, but instead you decide to save up for it over a period of 6 months. So you set a goal to save $500 per month, and then at the end of the 6 months, you'll have the full $3,000 to spend on the TV. Now, here's the thing. If you actually follow through with this plan and save $500 per month for the next 6 months, by the end of it, you would have saved up $6,000 because you did just save the $3,000 that you needed for the TV. You also saved an additional $3,000. And all you had to do was just not spend it. And so the question is, how can we use this to our advantage? Well, here's what happens when you actually apply this concept to real life. By the end of the 6 months, you end up with more than you expected. You ended up with $6,000 instead of the $3,000 that you originally planned for. And so you might say, okay, well, then I'll just raise my goal to $6,000. And then at the end of it, I'll save even more. So let's say instead of buying a $3,000 TV, now you want to buy a $4,000 TV. And so you might be thinking, okay, well then I'll just raise my goal to $8,000 and then I'll save even more. But here's where things get interesting. Because if you were to save $1,000 every month for the next 8 months, at the end of it, you would have saved $16,000. And this is assuming that you don't touch your initial investment of the $4,000 that you were going to use to buy the TV. So the moral of the story here is that saving money is like a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts small, but it gets bigger and bigger as it rolls. So the longer you save, the more money you'll have. And if you can just stick to your plan and save consistently, then eventually you'll reach your goal. But if you give in to temptation and spend your savings, then you'll never reach your destination.